Hello, everybody. Welcome to Government Secrets. I'm sorry it took a couple extra minutes here. Should be streaming live now on Rumble for the first time. So thank you to everybody watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome
why the
to
fuck am I
Government
hearing
Secrets.
this? I'm hearing this in my ear.
A couple
I'm hearing
extra
this in
minutes
two
here.
places. So no, we didn't get it figured out.
Live now on Rumble for the first time. So thank you to everybody watching. Hello, everybody.
Oh Jesus,
Welcome
I'm
to
caught in a
Government
loop.
Secrets.
This is awful.
Hearing this in my ear.
Okay, that's insane. All right. All right. So this is not working there. So I think we're on. I think we're on Rumble. All right. So you can watch us on Rumble, and I just shared the link out. And of course, we're streaming on Rockfin, and YouTube. So just to be clear here, I use StreamYard, and you can only stream on 3 platforms at the same time. So we're not doing Twitch. Not that I don't like Twitch. I don't have the time to invest in it. And Rumble people have reached out to me, and they said they're going to promote what we're doing. So in the meantime, I'm going to sip some tea from my golden from my Government Secrets mug. These are not for sale yet. Boy, that just tastes. It tastes like truth. All right. So share this out on your social media, everybody. And yes, I think due to Lee and I's schedules, I think this is going to probably be more of a consistent time. Lunchtime in the lab. All the nerds say hello, Graham. Thank you, Kat. I think this is probably we'll be doing this more noon Pacific, 3:00 Eastern, just because of our schedules are changing. So this should be more of a consistent time. And I know this might actually be a little bit better for people like in Europe and other parts of the world, because I think it's nighttime there, maybe. I know it is a time in Europe right now, just like I know Estonia is near something. These are things that I know. So that's what you guys come here for, the facts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us bring him on the show. One of the most censored comics in America, Lee Camp.
What's up, man?
How you doing, buddy?
I got a blurry background. What do you think of that?
Oh, I like it, dude. We don't want to see what's on your bookshelf.
Yeah, I mean, when you own that much child pornography, you've got to kind of blur it out.
Jesus, Lee. But Jesus, I wouldn't say that out loud, nor to me. So
I don't know if you remember this, but to me, this looks like, I know you've been sober for many, many years now, but to me, this looks like how it feels when you've had too much to drink at a party and the faces of friends just kind of come through, but the background's blurry. It's just like, hey, man.
Yes. This is exactly, every time I see this, I'm like, oh, this is why I'm so glad I don't drink anymore. Because I don't want to see a blurry background when I'm talking to someone and their face is just like, hey, because, people get drunk. They always close talk you and they're loud.
Hey, how you been, man?
It is the one downside of not drinking is, wow, people that are drinking are annoying. Like, it just doesn't, it's just hands down. And it's like, I just was on the road, right? I just did 11 shows in 18 days and it was awesome. It was great to be touring and people come out and it's a good time. But of course there's always a couple of drunks at every show, and then they won't shut up, or at least they come up to you after the show and you appreciate it.
Right.
But then they say the same thing over and over. Hey, man, really great show. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. No, seriously, man, great show. Thank you for coming. Nah, man, your show is amazing. Thank you so much. Seriously, man, your show is amazing. I got it.
And they're also the ones that'll buy like 7 pieces of merch. Like,
right.
I'll just take 8 of those. And you're like, so I can't just tell you to go away because you're the ones spending
you're drunk buying $100 worth of t-shirts and DVDs. So I have to keep laughing with you.
Right.
But it's like, oh, and then they close talk and you're just like, okay, cool, man. So yeah, someone Cat B in the chat, that's her on edibles. That's great. Well, I'm sure.
Well, Kat, Ron Placone and I are going to be in Oregon July 28th, and Portland July 29th, Seattle, and July 30th in Vancouver. So check that out. Come and eat your edibles and watch Ron and I. But you folks are all watching and listening to Government Secrets episode 82 with the two most censored comedians in America, Lee Camp and Graham Elway.
I've started calling myself the most censored comedian in America, and I've asked people to throw in suggestions of who are more censored, and I haven't got any, as long as you include living and active comedians, because someone was like Lenny Bruce, and I'm like, all right, fine, yes, he was arrested a lot more than I have been for my comedic words, but living and active, it's tough to come up with anything.
I mean, I've been demonetized for 16 months. But so that kind of put me in the front running for a while. And then, but you have literally,
I've lapped you.
Yeah, you've lapped me. You've completely lapped me. And it's literally the basically the powers that be are just like, what Lee Camp? Who's that? He's never made a video for anybody. What are you talking about? There's been no Russian TV. Like,
right. All my old videos banned globally. Because they were worried, that someone in Estonia might watch the YouTubes and learn something.
Well, I think the CIA figured out right around the same time I did that Estonia is near something. So
I think they did.
And they're like, now that we know that Estonia is near something, they might actually repeat some of this crazy knowledge that Lee has. Yep. And so, yes.
But yeah, and my other podcast, Moment of Clarity, deleted on Spotify. So hopefully that doesn't have any government secrets. So.
Well, I don't know. It's we're such in a troubling spot here because we need the show to grow. We want to do live shows and sell tickets, and for it to grow, which means it's going to get on somebody's radar. So it's
right. As long as we can just keep it kind of small. In fact, I'm going to start picking shittier and shittier stories so we don't grow in popularity.
We'll just talk about like, they picked the wrong kind of garbage trucks in Detroit one year.
Yeah. This week, Graham, I'm covering how FDR wore plaid socks. What?
The big cover up that his polio was getting worse. No way. Who knew that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm this close. I'm this close to just doing cat videos, or just completely pivoting my YouTube channel to just sports and just talk about sports and get just as mad, but about the dumbest shit. Like, I can't believe the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Like, who cares?
Dude, if we can just spend 1 minute on a riff about how the fuck sports radio people fill 3 hours a day in on the radio in the off season. Like, yes. They have to talk about one possible trade that might happen for an hour. It's amazing.
Yeah. And everybody weighs in, and all these mainly men with all their misdirected anger get all mad about this shit. And when I was younger, I used to argue sports, and it's the dumbest argument you could ever have about anything in the world. Like, you're better off arguing the weather. Like, it's so stupid. Like, and as I've gotten older and kind of now I just see sports for what it is. It's just entertainment.
They'll legit talk for 2 hours about how, Steph Curry said something under his breath to another player.
Oh God. And that's broken down like what some guy said on the sideline. Yeah. And then everyone gets so worked up about it. And you're like, none of this matters at all. Like if whoever wins the NBA finals is going to determine like, well, if Phoenix wins, they get more federal funding or something like, okay, then I could see people getting that mad or like worked up. Like, oh man, the Bulls got knocked out of the playoffs. So now Chicago's not going to get any money for, street cleaning or something like that. It's like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. When all the people are not going to eat in Chicago because their team lost.
Literally, we're delivering less food to Chicago because they lost to Milwaukee in 5. Like that would be like that. Then I would watch. Now we're getting into some rollerball shit that I'm down with.
High stakes. Yep.
Like fight to the death, and whoever loses, the city that loses, they get less money. They like their trains get shut down or something. It's just
whereas as it stands now, the city that loses has a bunch of sad 40-year-old men who mope around for a week. That's the cost.
Mad that they spent all this time watching millionaires generate money for billionaires. I used to say, but I tell you what, I woke up mad today. Which is rare. I'm usually just a rainbow running around on a beam of light.
Docile, loving creature. Yes.
People always say, hey, Grandma, how come you're so wound up and intense? You do all this yoga and meditation and surf. I go, I do that stuff just to keep my demons like moderately at bay.
Right. How come you? No, I kind of gathered that. I was like, all the green juices and the yoga keeps Graham on this side of lighting everything on fire. So
yes, you're so Lee. We've been doing the show almost 2 years now, and I think you've realized that seeing enough of my rants because the cameras didn't work or whatever the fuck. I'm literally this far from like me with a katana, like, and just 100 people, just like, who wants it? Yeah, like that's really
right. The Kill Bill scene against the Crazy 88 or whatever.
Yes. Oh, Lee, I'm one canceled hot yoga class away from just fucking me, and I would love to go out that way. Just me and
one hot stone Pilates session away from.
I'm one. They're out of vegan protein powder at the GNC day away. Just one of those. Just like. The charging stations were all taken for my EV, and I'm at like 23. Like one of those, just that close.
I spilled my shot of wheatgrass, and now someone must die.
Yeah. Like somebody dinged my surfboard, and now hell hath no fury. Like I'm just gonna just be like fucking Thanos, and just boom, snap, and half of the world just gone. Like.
And then the other half will be walking around going, what happened? I don't know. Something about a green juice smoothie not going well. I don't know, man.
I had this like trial for like a 2-week trial for this yoga studio. And they say all their classes are hot yoga. And I went into a class and it wasn't that hot. And I literally was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what the fuck? How the fuck you?
It wasn't that hot.
I felt a cool breeze come across my shoulder, and you would have thought somebody spit on my neck. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
I've been here a solid 30 seconds, and my balls are not yet sweating.
If I don't sweat out all this rage, it's gonna go somewhere, and I think I know where.
Sir, we don't bring katana swords into hot yoga.
Oh, well, you do now. So tell your teachers to arm the fuck up, and we're going to do this. So, yeah, I was really mad because I watched Ozark, and the series finale, to wrap up the whole series, was so fucking stupid. I was like, it made me mad. Anyway, that's what that riff was about. Just Ozark sucks.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think if I really untangle it, if you haven't seen the end of Ozarks, I don't want to spoil it for you, but let's just say some evil people did not get what I thought should have been their comeuppance, which is a recurring theme in America. And the show is that evil people are not being held accountable. And it's really like the Depp trial has like triggered a lot of shit in me because my ex is still gets to work at the Hollywood Improv, even though I have a restraining order against her. So I feel a little like things aren't fair. And when I feel like things aren't fair, I want to go take out the Crazy 88s. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. So anyway, speaking of unfair, I bet you we got some great segments coming up.
This week in Government Secrets features a lot of unfair.
And we should say this. We're going to start Lee and I talked about, we're going to start a Government Secrets Patreon, and we'll keep it really simple, and we'll put some bonus content. I don't know. I was thinking we can talk about this later. Maybe we do This Week in Government Secrets. We do that for Patreon or something. I don't know, but
yeah, that'd be cool. And I will say this real quick for those of you who've been following the progression, that I mistakenly thought that Liberia, which is a fine company, I think they're very kindly, they're trying to help creators, but they don't have the Patreon model where you can give a certain amount of content and in order, exclusively and stuff. So anyway, did not work as I had hoped. So I'm sorry about that, but we're going to create a Patreon.
Yeah, it's all good because we realize that most of you want, like, have voiced this in numerous ways of like, we want to pay, we'll pay money to support you guys to get exclusive content. And I totally get that. I do that as well. I subscribe to the Crazy 88's Patreon. So it's really, this Katana Life, that's a really good show.
And they send you a mystery eyeball and you get to, in the mail, you get to try and figure out whose it is. All right. So this week in Government Secrets, I'll go through them quickly, but I got two for you. In 1877, May 6th, 1877, Chief Crazy Horse of the Oglala Lakota surrendered to the United States troops in Nebraska. And many people have heard of Crazy Horse. He was a Lakota war leader. In the 19th century, he took up arms against the United States federal government to fight against encroachment by white American settlers on Native American territory and to preserve the traditional way of life of the Lakota. His participation in several famous battles of the Black Hills War on the northern Great Plains, and then the Fetterman fight in 1866 and the Battle of Little Bighorn in 1876. In which he led a war party to victory, earned him respect from both sides. In September 1877, so months, but he surrendered and then was in captivity for months before he was killed by his guards. They claim that he tried to escape and so they stabbed him or whatever. Who knows what the truth is? But of course, the truth is that the American Empire should not have been killing all the Native Americans to begin with. And we could do as we always say, we could do a much longer segment on Crazy Horse or something. But I wanted to just show people, a lot of people don't know about this. It's in our own country. It's the Crazy Horse Monument in North Dakota. And it's about an hour or a half hour or something from Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore, by the way, for those who don't know, the most offensive thing, bar none. No, I don't know about bar none, but the most offensive thing that has been fucking done to the Native Americans. The Black Hills were and are completely holy to them, have a lot of meaning, and we shat all over them with the faces of these fucking ugly presidents.
Of these white guys.
Ugly white. It'd be one thing if our presidents were, Brad Pitt looking, but this is not attractive, folks.
Well, and to clarify, I think you're speaking of so Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota.
Sorry, yeah, South Dakota. So that's Mount Rushmore, and then they're both South Dakota. And then here is some images of the Crazy Horse Monument, which is not completed. By the way, I'll say up top, some Lakota like this. Some Lakota are, even though it's of Crazy Horse, are opposed to it. Anyway, it is massive. The size is, so the face is finished. They've been going for 70 years. And the face is finished. And the face alone, as you can see, is the size, is like bigger than Mount Rushmore. Like Mount Rushmore could fit into the face. And the little image you see on the left of the white statue with the guy on the Crazy Horse on the horse, that's how they intend to finish the monument. And so far, all they've done is the face. I mean, but it's like the largest monument in America. And you basically never hear about it. And I've gone to see it, and it's fucking breathtaking. I mean, it's so much, and again, this is a fucking white guy talking. So I understand there are various arguments of this, but to me, it was so much more meaningful than Mount Rushmore. It was more powerful. This is a very much legendary Native American being, I don't know, worshipped, but looked up upon, in his own land. However, those who dislike it, the Lakota who dislike it, say that their culture is not about creating monuments. Crazy Horse himself would have disliked this. So there's an argument against it. But anyway, it's still pretty incredible.
Yeah. I mean, in the white imperialist colonialist culture, that's the highest award you can give somebody is a big statue, right? So
well, right. And so there are Lakota who maybe, I think that when it was started, especially, it was kind of like a fuck you. If you're going to do that with Mount Rushmore, we're going to one up you with our own hero. But
yeah. I went to Mount Rushmore as a kid, and that's all I remember about that.
That's the end of that story.
That's it. There's no long tail about that. I really like the series Ozark, but I thought the last episode sucked. So that's really all I can focus on today.
That's what you want to add to what we're saying.
That's what I'm going to add to the Mount Rushmore Crazy Horse discussion.
So here is the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said more riffs about Ozark. I have nothing to say. God damn it!
I'm not actually sure Graham heard what I've been talking about the last 5 minutes. He's still is still on Ozark. It's still Ozark. So.
We're just like, there's no way Laura Linney's character should still be alive. There's no way. But at least talking about something.
I'm going to keep this show on the rails, but Graham will keep mumbling behind me, and you can listen to whatever he's saying.
Well, because I'll be honest, because of the earlier time, this is going to explain a lot. I haven't gone to yoga yet. Usually I go to yoga before we do our show, when we do it at 3:00 Pacific, but that's not, so I'm going to do it after. So it's just,
I'm sorry. You can do it during. I mean, we could do this show with just like your foot in the air. That's all we see. Just a foot.
My shirt off, just sweating profusely. I'm in. Let's do it. All right, let's get into his first segment. Number 1, government secrets. The hot yoga episode.
Graham, I said I have 2 this week in government secrets.
I'm sorry, your name again is, please?
One last one, real quick. 1882, May 6th, the United States Congress passes the Chinese Exclusion Act, signed by President Chester A. Arthur. It prohibited all immigration of Chinese laborers, building on the earlier Page Act of 1875, which banned Chinese women from migrating to the United States. The Chinese Exclusion Act was the only law ever implemented to prevent all members of a specific ethnic or national group from immigrating to the United States.
What press? Like what? I thought we needed them to for cheap labor to help build the railroads. Like, it wasn't it like the Irish and the Chinese that build the railroads?
Yes, it was. I'm guessing that there probably was they're gonna come over here and all of our men are gonna run off with Chinese women, and before we know it, we're gonna be Chinese or something. I don't know. There was probably a movement that was like, oh shit, we're gonna become Chinese, and
right. They don't worship some ridiculous god. They do Confucianism and Buddhism, and they have this better way of living, and we can't let that happen. Something like, I'm sure there was some like that, like, no, they could change our culture for the better. Get rid of them. Right.
Anyway, now we are done with This Week in Government Secrets. So now you can do your announcer thing.
The most useless part of the show is this announcer voice. Segment number 1.
I don't think it's useless at all. I don't know where we'd be without it, honestly.
It's really the cornerstone of the show. I think that's why people tune in.
Absolutely.
Me just doing dumb sound effects between rants about either, whatever, yoga and whatever else.
All right, to get you off of Ozark, I'm gonna make you go first. So.
I know. I was like, I gotta talk on something, because I'm just gonna sit here thinking about Ozark while Lee talks whatever. I can't It's not good. It's not good for the show. I need to do this. All right. So let me find where is it? I'm going to do the, it is, I found a fun CIA operation.
There you go.
Oh, this one is going to be fantastic. This is CIA Operation Hat. This is how the CIA lost a nuclear device in India while spying on China and almost polluted the entire Ganga region.
Listen, if I had a nickel for all the times I've lost nuclear devices,
I mean, it's like
I'd
reading glasses. You know, I just like, you
can't keep up with all of them.
I think there's probably one under my bed, I think, that I've lost, but I can't remember. Like, then you go clean something out, or like you find that in your pair of pants.
Yeah, like it's 2 or 3 months later, you're like reaching through the dildo drawer, and then you're like, wait, that's a nuclear device. How'd that get in there?
I love that you just assume everyone's got a dildo drawer.
How do you not?
How do you? Maybe that's why I'm so angry. I don't have a dildo drawer. That's what I need.
Wait, hold on. Yours are just scattered around the apartment? Jesus, Graham, you gotta have a drawer. You gotta have a drawer.
I don't even. I'm embarrassed to admit I don't even own any dildos. Like that's not.
I used to do a bit about how the first part is true, about how Amazon. Someone went undercover working in an Amazon warehouse, and she talked about how a surprising number of orders involved dildos. It was always like a few things in a dildo. And then my stand-up joke was, I didn't think you needed more than like one dildo for your life, because it's not like they slowly get whittled down like a wooden pencil. You don't like go through them like, oh, that one's no good anymore. That's too small.
That one's got a crack in it.
Yeah. So if you're wearing through dildos, then you might want to reconsider your life choices.
Oh, please tell me that's your biography, Wailing Through Dildos.
Not wailing through, wearing through.
Oh, anyway, it should be wailing.
Either one is an issue. And yes, that will be the exclusive t-shirt for this week. If you're wearing through dildos, reconsider your life choices.
Oh God. Yeah, the new Wailing Through Dildos Government Secrets t-shirt. Those are going to be available soon. We would be billionaires if we made all of these things into t-shirts. You know that, right?
My favorite jazz band is Dildo and the Wailers.
Yep, I saw them at the Blue Note, and what was it, 93? Shit, they were amazing. God, they were amazing. So yes, this is all those times, Lee, you've lost nukes. You know that this this the Himalayas on the Indian side. So what happened was in October of 1959, it was confirmed that China, with Soviet assistance, had established a nuclear test base at Rushmore with all intentions of testing a nuclear device. U-2 flights over China were becoming extremely dangerous. So powers thought if they could put a monitoring station on top of some Himalayan mountain with a clear shot towards Rushmore, they could gather all the information. So it's one of the cornerstones of this show is always seeing that most of these CIA operations start with the dumbest idea. Like they, from the get-go, they're just like, let's put and it's an atomic generated monitoring station. That's what we're going to find out here. So we're going to basically put a nuke on top of a mountain in the Himalayas. Brilliant. What could go wrong, Lee? Again,
what could go wrong? And in the case of an emergency, one of the Sherpas would only be 3 days from the nearest fire hydrant or whatever.
It's great. It's perfect. I mean, it's really, it's so well thought out. I mean, the Chinese actually then tested a nuclear bomb at Lop Nor in the Barin Xinjiang province on October 16, 1964. With the Vietnam War already giving the U.S. a hard time, China posed a new threat. So what they did then, this is Johnson was in office, of course. He approved a spy mission to measure China's nuclear capabilities and see if the threat to the U.S. Was ambitious. So the mission was so critical for the CIA at the time that in India, only the CBI was aware of what the Americans were attempting, which I believe is their intelligence apparatus. So not even the whole Indian government did not even know about this. There was 9 climbers that were all-star climbing team, and then there were 4 Indian mountaineers who were drafted into their mission. Now, tell me if this sounds crazy, Lee. To install a 125,000-pound tracking device powered by a nuclear snap generator atop the Nanda Devi mountain range at 27,000 feet.
125,000 pounds?
Yes.
Jesus. Seems like you need more than 9 climbers.
We got 14 guys going to hump 125,000 pounds worth of gear up there. How long could that take? Should maybe a couple days, maybe? Shouldn't be bad.
A couple days. You should see they have big necks, those guys. So
you just get those. You've seen those big, camping backpacks. You know what I mean? Yeah. They disperse the weight. They're not as heavy as you think. So
right. Big cargo pockets.
Yeah, cargo pockets. Absolutely. And then maybe just a sled.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, like it's just atomic cargo. It's not that, you know what I mean? It's not like dangerous. So the snap generator, Lee, was powered by plutonium-238, which is a half-life of 87.7 years. If installed successfully, if being the key word, this device would help the U.S. intelligence to gather critical information on China, on their nuclear capabilities. And this is how generous the good folks at Langley, Virginia are. They saw this opportunity as a chance of a lifetime. The proposal was they were going to give the hikers. I'm going to give you 4 choices to guess what they were paid per month.
Let's see. I would say $7, but considering it was atomic cargo, I'm gonna go $14.
If you can hit the number without going over, you win. So it's you bid low, which is smart. They gave them $1,000 a month to take 125,000 pounds of nuclear generator up a 27,000-foot mountain.
I feel like of all the things going on in this system, in this plan, maybe pay the guys well. Maybe just on the off chance, throw them an extra couple bucks. Grease some palms and get the atomic generator to the top of the mountain.
Maybe throw in lunch. I don't know what helps this scenario. And the good news is,
give the guys dental, and then you don't end up with a lost nuke. Yeah,
maybe give them like CIA earmuffs because it's going to be cold hiking up that mountain or something like that.
Yep.
I've been to Langley and all I got was this parka, something.
I installed an atomic generator at the top of a fucking mountain and all I got was this parka.
The good news is, though, for anybody watching, the military no longer does this. It's not like now our atomic arsenal is being guarded by like 19-year-olds enlistees. We're good. We're safe.
Or often guarded by no one. I heard an actual NPR, which NPR doesn't do real news very often, so I was impressed. NPR report where someone went out to one of our nuke silos in like the Midwest. Because, there's a lot of farmhouses that have nukes in them. Because that was our plan was if the Soviet Union were to hit DC, we'd have all these nukes throughout the nation. So there's fake farmhouses that have nuclear silos inside. And one of these NPR people went up and she was like, I assumed there'd be some sort of guard. There was nothing. She's like, then I assumed that there was some sort of camera system that would see me there and some security would come rushing up. She's like, nothing. No one ever showed up.
Again, it's just a nuke. Like, I don't know what the big...
Just a nuke. What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst? What's the worst that could happen? Before these 9 climbers were landed in India for this chance of a lifetime, they were given a crash course in nuclear age espionage. So they didn't even understand nuclear technology. So that's cool.
So these are not like CIA guys. These are just climbers.
Yeah, they just found good climbers, and they said, we'll just give them the kind of, nuke 101.
We're going to give you this heavy glowing green backpack. Don't ask questions. Just deliver. It's Jello. It's just Jello. Just deliver it.
Again, why would you need experts in this type of a thing? It's not that big of a deal. So this is the team assembled. Included a demolitions expert, a former U-2 pilot, a psychiatrist, and a cineologist. They were tasked with equipping the mountaineers with the basic skill set for a mission of such critical value. But as one spy put it later, most of the spook book jargon was just meant to impress us and a waste of a lot of time. They were flown to Mount McKinley in Alaska to acclimate to and warm up to the 23,000 feet. And ominous signs just before embarking on the greatest mission of their lives.
And acclimate to radiation.
Yes, and having nukes in their backpack. Yeah. So because the weather when they were testing, so they were training at Mount McKinley in Alaska. The deteriorating weather kept them from reaching the summit and ended the warm-up mission prematurely. So they didn't even get to go to the 20,000 foot summit, which is still 7,000 feet shorter than this Himalayan range. So they didn't even get a full training session. But hey, whatever. Again, you're just hiking up a mountain with nukes. I don't see the big problem. Like, you'll figure it out as you go. It's like you're playing a board game and you're like, let's not read through the rules. We'll just figure it out, right? It's the same thing. The CIA's initial estimates of stationing the device at 27,000 feet were squashed after input suggested that even if it was set up at 25,000 foot, it would deliver effectively without elevating the risk levels. Okay. The climbers therefore left for their mission under the guise of the Air Force High Altitude Test Program. So we're just testing altitudes was what their guise was. Like, we're just hiking to test altitudes. And of course they're going on this this is a treacherous hike.
They couldn't come up with a better cover than we're just seeing what it's like up there. We just want to see what it's like to be really high places. That's right. We're just seeing.
No, this is a dangerous hike, even for people that aren't psychos carrying nuclear weapons. Like, right. This is a dangerous hike for anybody. So, right. The centerpiece of the device that was to be installed atop the peak was a thin fuel rod that powered the snap generator. The rod contained... I'm going to let you guess, Lee. I'm going to give you 4 choices. Did the rod contain A, Mountain Dew, B, Jello, C, plutonium-238, or D, bubbles?
Kraft mac and cheese.
Oh, so closely. So close. If you would have said plutonium-238 mac and cheese, you would have been correct.
I was going to guess bubbles if you meant Michael Jackson's Monkey, but...
No, Bubbles the monkey was not in those rods, Lee.
He did, however, come up with this plan.
Yeah. I think Bubbles might have even gone, this feels like a bad idea. Plutonium-238 is a radioactive fuel that produces heat as it decays and was supposed to last 75 years if the mission was successful. At a place where temperatures could go as low as 40 degrees Celsius, the spies in the first expedition to install the device could feel the heat radiated from the container that housed plutonium-238. So they never tested it in minus 40 degree weather. What's the worst that can happen with radioactive fuel at high altitude and low temperatures? Like, that's never changed the chemical composition of anything, has it?
But the climbers liked that their junk stayed warm while they were hiking because of the heat emanating from the backpacks.
Yes, the plutonium-238 kept my nads nice and warm as we hiked up the side of a mountain. The team set out to complete the mission September 65. They were stopped about 2,000 feet shy of the summit due to bad weather. But rather than wait for the autumn moonshines to give way, they decided to secure the package between rocks and return to the base, hoping to complete
No, stop. Stop. They treated nuclear material the same way teenagers treat a six-pack they were drinking in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to finish it, so we're going to put it behind this rock, and we'll come back in a week.
We'll come back a week later and drink it. It'll still be cold.
It'll still be here. It'll still be fine. No way.
The teenagers in this beer scenario coming back in a week would be smarter, because the second expedition came about almost 6 months later in the spring of 1966. As the weather eased up and the team well rested and wiser from the mistakes they made the last time, the State Department of the U.S. and was fairly confident that once the expedition was over, they would have clear and concise inputs on China's activities. So, Lee,
how much wiser were they?
They were so wise that they didn't have to worry about the package because it had been swept away from the rubble of the cliff that had broken loose, which happens on mountains, Lee.
Well, no worries. It only has a half-life of, what was it, 87 years? So.
Yeah. And what's the worst can happen with nuclear material just being scattered on the side of a fucking mountain after a avalanche?
Can you imagine that the return hikers that are like, I'm pretty sure I left it by this tree. This is the tree. I swear this is because I remember that acorn. And I put the nuclear material right next to the acorn.
Did you X the rock just so we knew which one it was? Did you forget to X the rock? So really good that they didn't have any sort of geologists or, hey, what can happen up in these mountains?
Oh yeah, it's always good to have a, hey, what can happen guy.
Yeah.
You always want one, hey, what could happen guy with you at all times.
When they just said, let's put this behind this tree, nobody went, what if the things collapse? It's a mountain. There's rock slides. There's storms. This is the most severe weather on the face of the earth. Nah, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Wow. But on the plus side, they did, when they returned, discover a 32-foot tall squirrel. So
yes.
That was exciting.
Yes, there was a radioactive squirrel with superhuman strength. When they realized the radioactive plutonium was gone, leaving the climbers dumbfounded and the State Department in shock, the spy mission quickly turned into a nuclear tragedy waiting to happen. The Nanda Devi South Glaciers provided the headwaters for Ganges, the holy river at 450 million, which is the holy river.
Ganges.
The Ganges. The Ganges, which is the holy river for 450 million Hindus in India at that time, and a source of clean water to major parts of northern India. So they put pollution. So that this plan, of course, there's a little blowback in that 450 million people now have contaminated water.
Yeah, but I think we've experienced this again and again, Graham. This is contaminated water for non-white people. So it's okay.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Absolutely. Good point. the CIA might have accidentally polluted the entire Indian River system with radioactive elements would be disastrous. More so, if this news broke out, it could lead to an all-out war between India and China, as the two Asian powers were already involved militarily in the Northeast. Taking stock of the situation, the CIA came up with a plan. Oh, and you know this is going to be a smart plan, right? Cleaning up blowback is always the CIA. It always gets it right the second time. That's the CIA's motto. Their plan was to locate the package, including the radioactive plutonium. Oh, that's good. You included that. That's smart. It involved using.
For those listening at home, Graham has just doubled over at the reality of the stupidity of the American government and intelligence agencies.
You're going to think I'm making this up. I am not. Here's what they used. The plan involved using rubber hoses to wash away the rubble and exhume the nuclear device.
Stop.
In theory, it should have worked, but the mound created by the avalanche was almost as big as the Giza pyramid, and the CIA cleanup was unsuccessful.
As big as the Giza pyramid? Holy shit. And they
how does a rubber hose not work?
They came running at it with rubber hoses.
That didn't work? Well, you know what they should have done, Lee? They should have kinked the hose. You know, you bend it.
Oh, kink the hose.
And then it builds up the pressure, and that would have blown away the Giza pyramid.
And then you hold it for a minute, and then you let it go. And that will usually take out a Giza pyramid, a pyramid or two. I mean, at least one of the smaller pyramids.
It works every time.
That's how the Sphinx lost its nose. Someone kinked a hose. Someone kinked a fucking hose.
Oh, that's why there's no kinked hoses near Mount Rushmore allowed. They don't allow them because it could take down the whole thing.
The whole thing down. Yep.
Oh. So they used.
A lot of people don't know 9/11 kinked hose. Yep. A lot of people don't know.
Well, they learned this kinked hose theory. That's how they took down Building 7, was a kinked hose. The CIA used a kinked hose to take down Building 7.
Yes, it did. Yep.
Oh, God. Estimating the high cost of repercussions if the news if the news of this failed mission came out, the higher ups in Washington decided to abandon the mission without retrieving the device. The decision to abandon the device was concealed from the White House. Again, the CIA, it's so great they have no checks and balances and get to do whatever they want.
From the White House. Lovely.
The president is not allowed. They don't tell the president. This is like, I mean, the CIA, I guess, is just like kids that had a party when their parents were out of town and then just lied about it. Like,
maybe they didn't want to go back to President Johnson and go, the hoses didn't work. What could we do? We ran at the thing with hoses, and we kinked them. We did kink them. We kinked them, and the pyramid was still there. Yeah.
President Johnson would have gone, did y'all kink the hose? And then that's what he would have. The Indira Gandhi government in India was never notified of the mission by their own CBI. So the Chinese and Indian specialists within the CIA almost came to blows. In letters thereon, it was reported that one mountaineer even punched a CBI agent in the midst of an argument. Everyone was like screaming, why didn't this happen? How 3 expeditions all failed. Yeah. So the CIA was unsuccessful in monitoring China, and on the October 27, 1966, China launched an experimental rocket from a launch pad in central Xinjiang under the CIA's nose. So that is Operation Hat.
I mean, I think I can speak for the CIA when I say we tried everything. We did everything we could. Tried every last thing.
We sent 3 teams of guys that really didn't know what they're doing up a mountain with a horrible plan to begin with, and I don't know how it failed. I don't know what else to do at this point.
We paid them in warm curry, and we, for some reason, something went wrong. They marked the tree where they left it. They did. They swear they did. And
I mean,
yeah.
What are you supposed to do? I mean, when you get a rainy day, you know.
I mean, they couldn't hang around long. There was a 3-story tall squirrel that they had to really get out of the way of. So did what we could.
Oh God. So that's it, buddy. I'm sorry that segment went a little long, but that's Operation Hat. Good old CIA doing great work.
All right, I'm going to see if since we're already at an hour here, I'm going to see how quickly I can go through this.
Government Secrets final segment. Lee Camp, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm always waiting for the pew pew noises, but sometimes it's just Lee Camp.
It's just like it just stops. We run out of money for the sound effects, is what that usually means.
Yeah. So this is the story, the government secret story of the country of Liberia. Now, some people may not know that Liberia has not always been a country, as no countries have always been countries, but it was created by the United States, basically. On the west coast of Africa, and by the way, I'm getting a lot of this information from a Baltimore Sun article. So at moments there may be references to the connections to Maryland, the state of Maryland, but you know that doesn't change the overall story. So west coast of Africa is the country of Liberia. More than 1,000. There's a Maryland county where more than 1,000 formerly enslaved people settled in the 1800s. Many were born in Baltimore and Maryland. But this is decades before the Emancipation Proclamation abolished slavery in the United States. And many white legislators, because that's all there were, decided to create a homeland in Africa for Black people. Now, I think you could initially be like, well, that's okay. That's better than enslaving them, right? You create a homeland they could have rather than treating them like shit. But more complicated than that.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you mean there was some sort of awful, racist, nefarious reasons they're going to set this country up, Lee? I'm shocked.
I don't know why you said racist. I don't think racism enters into this. Completely other reasons.
It's not like racism completely is the through line of all of the creation of America. No, you're right. So this was an amusement park for freed slaves. That's what it was going to be.
So the foundation of Liberia started as an answer to the quote unquote problem of free people of color. So basically, white enslavers at that time in the United States viewed free Black people as a threat in multiple ways, just because they didn't want them in their society, but also because they feared that the current slaves would look at the freed slaves and say, hey, maybe I should be free. And so they feared a rebellion. They feared seeing free Black people around society would create rebellion. And obviously this was dealt with in multiple ways. I mean, that was the beginning of our policing system, which I've covered before on the show, was slave patrols, especially in the South, where they would basically take any white guy who had a gun. They'd say, do you have a gun? All right, you're on the force. And you could stand on a corner, and if you saw a Black guy, your job was to harass them until they left town, or possibly arrest them and put them back into slavery, which they had just been freed from. But anyway, so in Maryland, the reason some of this has to do with Maryland is because it also had the country's largest free Black population. So the free Black people problem was greatest in Maryland. So some decided the solution was to create a separate homeland for free Black people in Africa. The idea gained ground with the formation of the American Colonization Society, which founded Liberia. And so basically they want, the white people in America not only was colonizing cool and chic, right? We came to the Americas and we colonized them from Britain and other countries. And, it was, manifest destiny. The Lord says we deserve these things. So Africa's not even really claimed by anybody. You can just go over there. You can steal people and enslave them. You can take the land, whatever. So why not just find an area of Africa and we could send the black people, descendants of the ones we stole and kidnapped and enslaved. We can send them back and they can just live back in Africa, in a part of Africa. Keep in mind how big Africa is, a part of Africa they didn't come from.
Yeah. And it makes sense that why would a country want, so many free people in a country that professes to be a free democratic country where people have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Why would you want more people enjoying the things that you say your country is about when you can ship them back to the place where you stole their ancestors from?
Right. And I've mentioned it many times on the show, but I always think it bears repeating. When they wrote all men are created equal, they meant 6% of the population, free, white, landowning males, which was 6% of the current population of America. That's what they meant when they said all men are created equal.
Yes. And they weren't even talking about the white serfs and indentured servants that they had. They were like, you're not equal to us because you're not a rich white guy landowner. In fact, they even invented the term white in I think the 16 or 1700s because everybody was unifying. Again, everyone was like, because they brought over all these poor white people that were indentured servants in addition to the slaves. And then they went, well, the indentured servants, the serfs, the white serfs, and the slaves were all starting, and some of the freed slaves were all starting to get along. So they went, oh, we should make this a race thing to keep everybody divided.
Yeah. And initially it was not mainly about race. It was indentured servants, like you said. And then as time went on, they realized they didn't have enough indentured servants to really grow America, farm the land. So that's when they came up with the idea of shipping thousands of people from Africa and stealing them from their land.
Yes.
The American Colonization Society had mixed motives, as you can imagine. They included white enslavers who wanted to prevent a slave uprising, as well as a few abolitionists who believed that black people would have better lives elsewhere, and also supporters of I don't know if they allowed black people into this group, but whether they did or not, supporters of this movement to create what became Liberia were many blacks who were American freed slaves that understandably thought they could have a better life by getting out of America. I think he gets into that in a second. Both abolitionists and white enslavers believed that free black people could never be integrated with white American society. It's important to remember that the nominally free black people lacked many basic rights in the 19th century. A host of laws governed their every move. Free black men, for example, weren't allowed to own firearms. The laws worsened after the 1831 Nat Turner Rebellion in Virginia. That year, the state of Maryland allocated $10,000 annually for 26 years for the transportation and removal of immigrants to Africa. And I imagine immigrants could sometimes be a euphemism, because it was either freed black people who, yes, wanted to go to Africa because they were fleeing a society where they could be lynched at any moment because someone claimed they looked at a white woman or touched a white person, or, I mean, just endless lynching was going on. Or even if not lynched, they could be just put back into slavery at any second. I mean, who's going to defend if a white guy grabbed a black person that's walking down the street and said, he's committed this wrong or that wrong, and I'm putting him back into slavery? Who's going to defend that? Who's going to stand up for him? No one.
Nobody.
Nobody with any power, I mean.
No.
So they negotiated with the natives of Cape Palmas, just south of the Liberian settlement, to purchase land. Colonization advocates promised a better life to those who left, while making clear that racism and suffering faced those who stayed. So many who made the trip to Liberia were sold a fake promise. They were sold a promise of a better life when, in fact, for many of them, arriving in Liberia in a very rough and unsettled area was incredibly difficult. But beyond just that, they were told, look, life is never going to get better for you here in America. We're going to keep trying to lynch you and put you back into slavery. So take this free ticket to Africa. Let's see, an 1848 article in the Maryland Colonization Journal stated that, sounds like a great rag, stated that.
What are the ads? What are the ads in the American Colonization Journal? What are they? Just best handcuffs for your money, or what are the ads over there?
I'm sure it was just for Brill cream and Camel cigarettes. I'm sure.
Camel cigarettes.
Maryland Colonization Journal that stated that a black man who leaves for Africa becomes a man. He is no longer despised as another race, but is treated as an equal and a brother, and secures immense privileges for his children. And by the way, I don't want to minimize that. For some, this might have been not the becoming a man thing, but that racist garbage. But in terms of getting a somewhat better life, some of them might have actually achieved that because you got away from the white people that were killing you and your family at any moment.
Yeah.
So pro-colonization literature tended to describe Liberia with rose-colored glasses. When you look at the actual experience, it was a very much mixed bag. Most free black people rejected the colonization scheme, with some believing it was a ruse to sell them back into slavery. But a few black leaders believed that West Africa offered them the best chance for escape from the racism that so circumscribed their lives. Some black men and women were coerced into leaving. The voyage from Fells Point Harbor across the Atlantic took about a month and a half. Many settlers got sick and died not long after arriving. In Cape Palmas, in Africa, they faced threats of violence from native tribes, some who still participated in the slave trade, meaning they could be kidnapped and sold back into slavery.
God.
But on top of this, there's the fact that, you know, there's also the fact that they were being turned into colonizers. So these black freed slaves who dealt with so much hardship now arrive in Africa, and they're the ones forcing out the natives. And apparently, and I don't know if it was all across Liberia or just certain areas of it, but for a long time, the native Africans that had actually lived there and actually, you know, were part of that land were not allowed to be a part of Liberian society. They weren't allowed. Liberia was the first republic, meaning, you know, having some form of democracy in Africa, but it didn't allow the natives to be a part of that. So it's kind of insane that, like, you're kidnapped, or your family is, you're kidnapped, you're brought to America, you're enslaved, you're treated like absolute garbage, like property. Then you get free, you risk being killed or murdered or re-enslaved at any moment. You go back to Africa, and then you become part of the colonizers, which is just like such an astronomically fucked up system.
Like, it's wrong on like 500 levels. Like, everywhere you turn, it's wrong. It's like, and I love when these things are hatched out and people are like, yeah, this is fair. This is a good system. Like, this is, and like, what do you do? Like, what choice do you have? You got to risk going on some boat and getting sick to a place you don't know if it's true or not, or staying where you can just get lynched just for looking wrong. What a horrible. And then if you do go there and it is kind of what they said it is, then you're the bad guy now in this place, like,
yeah,
where the indigenous people are not allowed to participate in, and you're just like, what? It's just everywhere they turn, the colonizers like, wow, we can ruin this place and make this awful and hurt, you know, and I'm sure this was said. There's got to be some tax dodge, or there also had to be some sort of like, and they set up their own, the banks of Liberia, where they could print their own monies with white guys, that everything was given.
Probably.
There has to be, like, this isn't, there's no way they were like doing this for them. We're going to really take care of these freed slaves. We feel bad. We want to get
yeah, but I think they got the benefit of getting rid of black people out of America that were free, which is what they didn't. They were white. They were what would be called today white supremacists. They viewed white people as superior, both under the law and mentally, and all of these things. They viewed black people as lower types of beings, and so they didn't want them in their society. So by kicking them anywhere, they could have taken the boat off the shore and sunk it. They didn't give a shit. So, but to them, that's a benefit. Like, well, as long as we get rid of them, we win.
Right.
So this is a historian saying this. He says the black settlers, in many cases, very literally became the colonizers. They excluded Native Africans from society. Critics charge that they built a society as unequal as the one they fled. Tensions between various groups simmered for years, paving the way for bloody civil conflicts. In recent decades, many Liberians, including those of Americo-Liberian descent. So those are the Liberians who came from America. Many Liberians, including those of Americo-Liberian descent, have immigrated back to the United States. It's commonplace for many over in Liberia to characterize Americo-Liberians as oppressors while overlooking their accomplishments against the odds. Yeah, so there, you could look at the fact that you ended up with a black-led republic, the first black-led republic in Africa, as a success story, I guess, on one hand, but at the expense of them becoming colonizers. It's incredibly complicated and just sad on so many levels. And of course, it's just the ripple effects of our horrendous slave trade.
Right. And it just shows you the mentality of the colonizer. So now that you've got freedom, the best thing we can give you is now you can be an evil colonizer.
Right.
Like that's because that's the top of the mountain. In the like white European imperialist colonizer is like, well, now we get to subjugate people that are below us, and we're going to give you your freedom. So now you can subjugate people. Isn't this yay? It's like
you won. You get to subjugate.
It's like the Democratic Party. Like now women and people of color can bomb poor people in the Middle East. Like it's amazing now. Women can stand against Roe v. Wade and pretend it's Ted Cruz's fault.
Or a woman could be the CEO of Lockheed Martin, Marilyn Houston. It was so exciting to see a woman dropping the bomb. So wonderful.
Wasn't it great when there was a time, and I don't know if it's still, but a couple years ago, all the CEOs of all 5 defense contractors were all women. And then like Gina Haspel, like now women can be a part of the CIA and torture people.
Women can be torturers. Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's great. It's like Ghislaine Maxwell. Look at how powerful she is. What a great woman. She's a small business owner. She's run a global empire.
Lived most of her life on a yacht. I mean, what a great job.
See, that's what we'll give you. Like it's the same. It's that mentality is still in, because they're like, hey, let's help people out. Let's all work together. It's funny. I was meditating this morning and I was thinking like,
thank God we at least got you after the meditation. Oh man.
Yes.
Whew. That would have been really rough.
I made sure I got up early enough that I could meditate before the show. So that happened, and I had a healthy vegan, gluten-free breakfast with organic tea. And I was thinking, like, it's so simple to run this planet. Like everybody gets along, everyone works together. We work in concert with Mother Nature because we need nature in the land to survive. It's so simple. It's so simple, and has been so fucked up because this planet is inundated by sociopaths who are greedy and hungry and have set up this awful system that then entices people to just crush everybody and think about themselves over the greater good. Like very few people are thinking about the greater good. Very few people. And it's so simple. Even people that claim to be big lefties or indie media, I'm thinking about the greater good. No, they're just chasing clicks and they want big money, just like they want that. That's it's the same. It's and that stuff is enticing. That stuff is I get it. It's very enticing. You know, if you've ever flown coach, you're like, oh man, I'd like a private jet. I get it. I get it. You know, so, and once you get a little taste of that good life, it's hard to give it up. And then
no, it's a profit over all else society.
Yeah. And I mean, which encourages a me attitude.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like fetishizes it. Like it's viewed as good, as successful. I mean, very few people even look down on people who make too much money.
You're glamorized. Like, that guy's cutthroat. You know, he stepped on a lot of heads to get to where he's at. Like,
you have no idea what that brave man will do to his neighbor if he gets in the way of a few pennies. Yeah.
That guy ate his neighbor's children's blood. He just drank. It was great. I mean, he really, I'll give him credit. I mean, he's ruthless, but ruthless has always said like, he's pretty, he's hard, he's cutthroat. And the good, nice guys finish last, which is like helping your fellow neighbor. That's a sucker's bet. That's what we're told. That's what we're told.
Yep. By the way, so that's the history of Liberia. For those who want to learn more about the history of Africa and how white men got together in a conference in 1855 in Berlin to draw the lines of the nations of Africa, unbeknownst and you know, without the knowledge of all of the tribes, the ethnicities, everyone in Africa, the actual people of Africa had no say in it, then listen to episode 62 of Government Secrets.
Episode 62, the African cut up by rich white assholes. Check that episode out. Well, that's our show, buddy.
That's it.
I know you're doing new stuff now that your Redacted got wiped out. So where can people watch and do all your stuff? That's a horrible sentence, but people understand what I mean.
Yeah, you get the point. You haven't had your hot yoga yet. Everybody, check out all of my stuff at leecamp.locals.com. I don't know why the site is named like it's some small town dating app, but leecamp.locals.com is where you can support all of my work. And I'm hoping to have a new show with Mint Press soon. If their current fundraiser is successful, then we will start that show.
Go to farmersdaughter.leecamp.gov.
I've got a new fundraising page on christianmingle.com if you want to meet up with me there.
Oh, christianmingle.com, guys. A great place for blowjobs. Anyway, I'm going to I'm now on Rumble, so go to rumble.com/Graham Elwood. We're streaming there now. So everybody that's watching this show, go sign up and subscribe to my channel on Rumble. And Lee's got a channel on Rumble. So we want to get more. The Rumble wants, I think, more lefties over there. That's my opinion. And
well, yeah, and I know some people are like, isn't that a right-wing thing? Yeah, it started as a right-wing thing, but here's the problem is when, you know, Graham's demonetized, all my videos are deleted, all my, you know, podcasts are getting deleted, then we're going to the only places that will not delete us. So for those fucking liberals who say like, well, you shouldn't be on Rumble, you should be on YouTube. YouTube banned all of my videos. So fuck you. I'm going to a place that won't censor me because we have no choice.
Yeah. YouTube is running ads on my videos and not paying me for the last 16 months. I haven't gotten a penny from YouTube in the fucking 16 months.
It's crazy that they keep the ads going.
They're still running ads, those motherfuckers. So I'm sorry. There's awful people on YouTube as well. So, I'm not going to blame the whole platform because, and to my knowledge, you know, Rumble, unlike Google, is not doing data collection for the intelligence community. So that's another reason to go on Rumble. And you know, I'm like beyond fed up on what I'm supposed to do with this. I've been doing this show for 5.5 years. I've done thousands of videos and my numbers have gone down. Like it's so frustrating. It is like,
yeah, no, with YouTube and with Facebook, when I started being hit by the suppression in 2016, at first I kind of frantically was like, oh, my numbers are going down. I need to do more videos. I need to, maybe I'm not interacting well enough with people. You go through all this troubleshooting of like, well, how can I be a better presenter and stuff? And none of it mattered, because the truth is they were just crushing my numbers and nothing I could do would change it.
Yeah, like you just said, like Consortium and Mint Press News, PayPal just kicked them out. They can't collect money on PayPal.
Yep.
That's what they did to WikiLeaks.
Two excellent news outlets have
excellent.
And in the case of Consortium News, they say they may steal the $10,000 that was there. So PayPal is deleting them and stealing their money.
It's unbelievable. Like it's, and people talk about a free, we do not have a free society at all. We don't live in a democracy. It's done. Like, give up that dream. We do not live in a democracy. When you shut down whole news outlets because you don't like what they have to say, and you take away people's ability to make money and what should be a freedom of speech thing. I have freedom of speech. As long as I'm not advocating, like I always use Alex Jones as the example. Oh, he's crazy. He's nuts. Yes. Don't watch him. Don't listen to him. Alex Jones, when he said, these mass shootings are fake, he has the right to say that. When he said, go harass the parents.
Yeah.
When
you're advocating for crimes, it crosses into a new territory.
And they took him to court and they won. Yeah. That's how you deal with that. He broke the law and he was held accountable. You don't censor him or knock, and if you're advocating for crimes, then there's a justification to maybe to pull him off. But if he wants to say lizard people run the world or whatever, I mean, like,
right. Because all of the mainstream media spend every minute advocating for endless war, manufacturing content for death and destruction. And so we're going to say, oh, well, that's the truth. Is let's have endless war, let's kill people endlessly, and anything outside of that is not the truth. I mean, that's what where we're coming down on this.
Yeah, it's insane. You're not allowed to question war. If you question war, you get demonetized, deplatformed, and it's amazing. It's I can't even. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for supporting what we're doing, folks. We'll still keep the Liberia Pay thing up there for sure, but we're going to be implementing, hopefully in the next week, we'll get it set up before the next episode, a Patreon for government secrets so you can support us directly. And we will be announcing live shows in the next couple months, doing a European tour in September. So
thanks, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Take care.
End of Government Secrets, episode 82. Goodbye, bitches.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. All right. Tony DeMeo, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Tony, thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Hey, Graham, I enjoyed the Film Nerds book, and I love the Political Vigilante tee. Right on, the t-shirt. Yeah, right on, dude. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you for coming to see us see the show in Chicago. That was really cool. Ron Placone and I will be performing. So Ron Placone and I, we haven't done our tours like this in a while. We haven't performed together like this. We each do like 45-minute sets. So it might be like a local opener that does like 5-10 minutes up front. And then Ron and I each do like 40-45 minutes. So usually the show's about an hour and a half, hour, 40 minutes. It's an excellent show. So go to grahamelwood.com. We are in Portland, Oregon, July 28th. We are in Seattle, Washington, July 29th. And we are in Vancouver, Canada, July 30th. grahamelwood.com for tickets. Laura Baza, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Laura, thank you for supporting us at rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. Boom. Boom, boom, pow. Kate, our moderator. Can we boycott the companies that run the ads, or at least write the companies? Yeah, you could do that. What you really need to do is email YouTube and get me reinstated. That would help. That would really help. And then where are we? Let me check. Liberia. One or two people. Are we guys nervous? What's it? No. All right. Thank you for this. There's like, I don't know, a hand. 38 people watching us on Rumble. Cool. Subscribe to the channel. Yeah, everybody go subscribe on Rumble. Thank you. No, Lee Camp and I are not liberals. We're anti-war, pro-labor socialists. Get ready, Rumble. We're not liberals. We will call out how shitty the Democratic Party is and the Republican Party. Get ready for that. And that is, what do we get? 239 likes. Right on. I missed all your great quips. Sorry, Sean. When we're doing government secrets, I'm really focused on what, because we each got to read stuff and listen to the other guy. And the Vulcans use logic and capitalism is illogical. Right on. Hey, Graham, my progressive friend died. I'm sorry to hear that, John. I'm sorry to hear that. It's always a bummer. Shave your knuckles. Yeah, I'd like to sue YouTube for wage theft. That's a good idea. I'd rather be ruled by cats. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm pro censorship. I'm pro censorship. That's so fucking stupid. Let me tell you something. When I block someone because they're being annoying, I'm not censoring you. I just don't want to listen to your bullshit. Censorship is when a big tech, I can censor anybody. I can say, I don't want to do that. If I run a business, if you're heckling me at my show, I'll shut you down and make fun of you. And if you still won't shut up, I'll have you thrown out of the club. You have to conduct yourself in a certain way. If you're being annoying, I can do that. That's not pro censorship. When you're so annoying, you won't shut the fuck up in the chat. I block you. Yes. That doesn't mean I'm pro censorship. That's just the logic of a child. You're good enough. You're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you. Thank you, Tony Clifton. Yes. Germany censors hate speech. Yeah. That's the other thing. The other thing too, Americans don't understand what's protected speech and what isn't. And they also, people on the left who call themselves the left, they don't even know what the left is. They don't even know what they're talking about. And certainly they're pro Medicare for all, whatever, but they don't understand. And it's okay to reach out to conservatives and get them unified on anti-war, whatever. But then they see someone who, there's a difference between a conservative and someone that's like a white nationalist or a fascist. And they think, oh, I'm unifying. We censored the Nazis in World War II. We went and killed them because we didn't agree what they were saying, because what they were saying, and then they were killing people. They started a war and they were putting people in ovens. So we censored the Nazis by killing them and bombing them. We censored them because it was dangerous what they were doing. They were killing people. Yeah. People like you are speaking truth and are revealing their control mechanisms for what they are. You're showing others that these allegedly neutral entities are not neutral. Thank you. Thanks, guys. I just canceled my subscription to the Colonizational Times. Lee Camp, Town, and I Rumbled Graham an hour or so ago. Right on. Cool. Oh, Google's launched pharmaceutical companies? Christ, that's terrifying. Oh, it's a drug company itself. Jesus. The new nuclear contaminated glass is half full. Shit, that's funny. Oh, I'm on Odyssey as well, but they pay me nothing. I mean, like they pay me in some sort of crypto, and I've checked, and it's nothing. It's like no money. I have a medal. Alex Jones was right, Jar. Right on. All right. Hello, Noma, for watching us on Rumble. 47 people watching on Rumble. Okay, cool. Hit the subscribe button, buddy. Go subscribe. Whatever platform you're watching, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed, especially if you're on YouTube, because they've been unsubscribing people. And then support what I'm doing at Patreon. I give you exclusive content on Patreon, right? Stuff you can't get anywhere else. So go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, and same thing on rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. It's exclusive content. I'll be on local soon. So we're just doing everything we can to keep the boat moving. Hello, Leslie. How are you? Yet horrifying speech about eugenics and how Hitler stole all his genus plans, including the idea of gas chambers from the U.S. I would not doubt that. We owe no explanation for trolls. Absolutely. You have an audience, Graham. It's obvious you are a public figure and deserve to be paid for your content. Google has no right to deny you a wage while they profit off your labor based on a lie. Yeah, maybe it's time to do that. Yeah, that's a good point. So, all right, everybody, that's our show. We have been talking for a little over an hour and a half. So there was talk of a YouTube union a couple years ago, but I don't know. I don't think anything came from it, quite honestly. I remember doing a video about it. I interviewed somebody. So I don't think what's this? Hold on. All right. All right, let me check if there's anything on Venmo, another way to support the show. Yeah, YouTube union needs to happen. I know. When is your late night crypto lounge? So we've been doing the crypto lounge at 6 o'clock on Mondays because some of the people on the East Coast, but I don't feel like a lot of people are aware of it because we haven't had huge turnouts. So we're going to do it again this Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. But if that doesn't, I mean, really show up for that, because I'm tempted to go back to 8 o'clock or split the difference at 7. So, because we did 8 o'clock for 2 years. Yeah. So if you're a Rockfin Premium subscriber, you get the Monday. It's for Rockfin Premium members only. So, come by Monday, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. So we'll see. I think you and Sabby Sab should do something together. Yeah, I've heard about it. I just I think we just started following each other on Twitter. Check that out. Go to Rockfin, support the show any way you can, guys. I very much appreciate it. Go to grahamelwa.com for tour dates, sign up for the newsletter. You've also got this Political Vigilante coffee mug. Oh, blue on the inside. Fill it up full of truth. So that's that. Thank you for coming and checking out the show. Thank you to Kate, our moderator, and to all of you. You're the smartest. You're the best and smartest fans in the world. You're so, so smart. I appreciate it. Monday nights, late night crypto lounge. Thanks for the stream. Thank you all that supported us over on Rockfin. 259 likes. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We will see you Monday on Rockfin, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. The Late Night Crypto Lounge, if you never come to it, we talk about crypto. We talk about that week in crypto, like what the prices are and what any crypto news. And then I always do a couple of regular segments anyway. So, and I've got segments that I've done the last couple of days that I just haven't been able to edit out and put out there, but there'll be segments dropping. And go over and subscribe on Rumble. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great weekend. Shave your knuckles for justice. Government secrets.